Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Family still in shock after father's 15-year sentence. A family is in shock after a 15-year sentence was handed down to the father, who said he was only defending his 4-year-old son's honor following an allegation that the boy was molested by their then 16-year-old male neighbor. The 52-year-old father was sentenced on July 7 for the offense of wounding with intent. In a recent interview, his 43-year-old sister-in-law said that the little boy was allegedly molested at home after the teenager had taken him home from school one afternoon in January 2018. Him mother no send him go to school none at all, and that is the only reason why him mother did difficult pick up my nephew from school. Usually, him would have dropped my nephew off at the step, but this time until my mother say him want to change him clothes, the woman alleged. She said her nephew gave his family a graphic account of the alleged molestation after the little boy's family questioned the teenager to determine the veracity of the claim. The teenager, she said, denied the story, but the 4-year-old's boy father grew angry and stepped toward the teenager to hit him. However, the man's wife stepped between them and told the teen to run, which he did. The matter was reported to the police and the teenager taken into custody. However, that, according to the woman, started a bitter feud between the two families. She said that since then, the teen was arrested, and despite the condition of his bail, being that he should not stay in the community, he was spotted numerous times re-traumatizing her nephew. She said it took more than a week for the police to come and remove the teen after a number of calls were made to the police. You see the two other siblings for the teen? Every time them see the father, them say, a gunshot here go get. So they provoke the man, and him lick one of them with a shovel and cut one of them with a knife, the aunt said. After going to court for approximately 4 years, the father was eventually sentenced to 15 years in prison. She said the family would like to appeal the decision, but finding the money is a challenge. Reporters have said that the molestation case is still ongoing. The 4-year-old boy's mother said her son is heartbroken by the sentence. I think my son is still out of it. When he heard about the sentence, he thought that he, the father, would be coming home on the 15th of July. So, I have to get him into comfort zone and explain to him, the mother said, as she tried to hold back tears, adding that she doesn't want her son to be grown before his father is back into his life. What happened was shocking. Me still not really take it good. There hasn't been a moment through the day when me not try to call to God. Him, the father, say him alright. Him say him committed the crime, but the punishment is severe, but him defend him son, so he's okay. It gives him comfort to know that he protected his son, the mother said. She believes, though, that her husband did not get a fair trial because the policemen who made the arrest allegedly had connections with the family of the teenage boy. She said before the sentence was read, she went to the Independent Commission of Investigations and other relevant authorities for assistance, but was not successful. His arresting officer during the whole incident, he was always the first police on the scene if we have any confrontation, she said, explaining that the cop is stationed at the police station miles away from her community, over which other police stations had jurisdiction. She said the judge was very surprised to see this high-ranking police officer in charge for wounding with intent case. When the judge saw him, she said, "What are you doing here?" The wife told reporters, adding that the judge asked the cop why he didn't allow the police who were responsible for the community where the problem exists to do their work. The wife said the policeman responded that the cops from the station are incompetent and unable to carry out their duties. Meanwhile, the wife said she's hoping that she can find the money to start the appeal process. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made it clear as to why the Bernard Lodge residents' houses were demolished.
In order to facilitate the development of the community, SCJ has over the years provided support for the community activities in Clifton, and in 2020, a Premier League size football field was donated. They always had the football field, Madam Speaker, but the SCJ spent over $3.5 million fixing up the field and putting in amenities. I believe Minister of Agriculture at the time assisted, yes, Floyd Green would have opened the field. And arrangements were made for resource training, and a farming area of some 7.5 acres was made available to the community for farming, and seeds and fertilizer was donated for that purpose. The intention was that this farmland would provide employment and yield surpluses which could be used to defray community expenses. So, Madam Speaker, I'm just explaining that the state, the government, your government, has been working hand in hand with the people of Clifton. There is always this notion in the back of the minds of our Jamaican citizens that our state is predatory, that somehow our state is not going to act in the interest and in defense of its people. Madam Speaker, as Prime Minister, everything that I have done is to ensure that the state acts in the interest of the people of Jamaica. Not some people, not elites, but for all people of Jamaica. I am, where I come from, my origin, my background would never permit me to have any policy that disregards the poor. Never. And inasmuch, Madam Speaker, as I grew up in a poor family, at 56 Cumberland Road, near to the grass yard in Spanish Town Market. Yeah, I have to say it. You know it. Walk to Spanish Town Primary, walk to St. Catherine High School, and come back home when my mother never had lunch money to give me. I grew up, Madam Speaker, in a disciplined family, in a family that believed in law and order. And being poor, Madam Speaker, doesn't mean that you must break the law. And I just need to say that. But this, Madam Speaker, is not a poverty issue. I want it to be clear. This is not a poverty issue. This is not. I am hearing it circulated that nobody was given notice. Nobody was communicated with. Why you never just come and talk to us? Now, Madam Speaker, I made sure to go and talk with the people. Because as leader of the country, I can't afraid of my own people. And they don't have to talk to me through the media. Tell me how you feel. I don't afraid of no gunman, or gunman, or gangman, or whoever. So I went to the community to hear the grouses of my Jamaican citizens. And one of the complaints was, we never get any notice. No, sir, lie, no notice. And listen, I understand the frustration and the upset, but we cannot allow untruths to survive. Notices were given, were displayed, were posted. Now, you have to understand, Madam Speaker, that when you go there, when these construction projects are going on there, you're not going to find anybody who is going to say, it's mine or it's me. And so we had to post it, meaning staple it as is required in a visible place by law. So the SCJ took additional action by calling in members of the community, including one prominent member of the community whose name appears on several receipts as having received payment purportedly in exchange for the land in the area. Now there is a name being circulated in social media. I believe it's Clifford Grant or something like that. We don't know that name. There is a name that we know, but I'm not going to call anybody's name in Parliament, even though I'm protected to do so, but everybody is entitled to a due process. And so I would allow the due process to take its course. But those receipts are available. I was planning to show one here, but they may become evidence later on. So that person they were met with. This meeting, which was attended by 4 members of the Sugar Company of Jamaica team, including the managing director and the general manager, took place at the SCJ's offices on March 10, 2022. At that meeting, it was made clear to the members of the community that no authority has been given to be carrying out any construction on the land, that such action was illegal, and in consequence, any construction should be immediately discontinued. At no time was any permission given to anyone to carry out any construction on any part of any land owned by the SCJ in Clifton or elsewhere.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification